My mom and dad, they got married in February. I think it was 19th. And Grandpa Schwartz, he had encouraged him to buy a farm. It was 120 acres. It was nothing but pretty damn rough farm, you know, at that time. And they paid, I think it was $7,000 for it. And the land was cheap, you know, farms were at that time yet. Anyway, he bought it, and of course there was an old log stable on it. He built a new barn on it, quarried all the stone wall, you know, out of the hills back in there. There was sandstone, and blasted them out. Ed Kramer built the barn then for him, and it was a pretty good sized barn. And he had to go to Spring Green to get the lumber. He made a trip always with the old wooden wheel wagon, you know, and a team of horses going to Spring Green. I was about 11 or 12 miles, and load up a load of lumber and an old wooden wheeled wagon and haul it home. And then, of course, done the construction, you know, the building. And we got the barn built. And I can remember it, a lot of it when I was, I'm just old enough to remember, you know. And they had a boy that they had there. He was, I can remember when I was 5 or 6 years old, and he was maybe about 7 or 8. They raised him like a foster child for a while. Frank Blau, they had one too. His name was Laddie Cout.
And so your parents raised a boy for a time? What was his name?
I don't remember even anymore.
You were pretty young then, if you remember
that. I don't remember.
You were so little you don't remember. Huh.
I can remember him. I was about before school age, you know. I don't know he was there for...
You didn't go to school till you were almost...
Was he like an orphan or something? Was he an orphan, this boy?
I don't know. He probably must have been, because...
Probably was. A lot of times mothers died in childbirth, and then somebody else would take the boy or the girl.
I see.
Anyway, when we started school, he wasn't there anymore.
Huh.
So I can just remember.
Somebody probably took him.
I don't know if Lawrence even remembers him.
Yeah. And you spoke German at home till you went to school?
Yeah.
Yeah?
We didn't know any English or German.
You had, so you learned English when you went to grade school?
Fast.
No, none.
But did you learn it in school then, or?
We had to learn in school. We got beat over the head with rulers by the sisters, by the nuns, because we couldn't speak any English.
That was kind of crude treatment.
We had a sister. She was about this tall. She was probably 40 years old, and this big around. And she had a rosary that, you know, they had a long rosary out like that, and she used to have to double it up so the cross wouldn't drag on the floor. She had a 12-inch ruler, and she always kept it right under her belt. If he didn't pay attention or something, she'd come up and write, boom, 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 you know, get up in front, you know. I remember,
what would you
in
say?
front of the, we used to have to stand in front of the class, you know.
Because you couldn't speak English.
Get humidified.
Like that was going to help.
That was the punishment.
Pounding it in.
Or they made you go to the back of the class and pay a rosary or something like that, you know. For penance. Them, you know, neighbors there, they were in the same situation. You know, the folks all spoke German, you know, and hell, when we were home yet, when we lived out here, moved up here in 1937, well, Julie Schultz just came over one Sunday to visit, you know, the first Sunday, and Mom and Pop, they were talking German, and we'd answer in English. And Julie Schultz, he got the story around that they must be cuckoos because
Don't speak English.
don't speak English.
You know, that makes me think of a memory I had when I was a kid. And we went to fairs at Hillsboro, Wisconsin, and that was a Bohemian settlement. And the people there would speak Bohemian. And my dad, I remember my dad saying, and I was probably 10, 12 years old, I don't know what they're doing, they're living here, but they're not speaking English. They should be. And probably more like his parents maybe couldn't.
Yeah.
But I always remember that.
Okay.
Well, we were living out here yet when we moved up here. The folks that talked German to us, we'd answer in English, you know.
Afraid to go your head over the head again.
Did your parents always speak only German to each other?
Yeah.
As long as your mother was alive,
Yeah.
huh?
Well, apparently your mother was, her
Well, she
folks
spoke
must
English
German.
after. Yeah.
Well, she could
Yeah.
speak English though,
Yeah.
your mother.
Because your
German, too.
mother was born here, but her parents had immigrated, right?
Yeah. Clarence Alton, Herman Alton, they had that, where we talked about the cattle had being back there, you know. And we had 40 acres of land back in there. It was grain cutting time. Paul and I, we walked, it was about a half a mile, about 3/4 we had to go across. We'd walk back in the house and walk right back up the creek, you know, and get to that land. We went back there to shock grain. They had it all cut with the binder, so we went back there and we shocked it. And we were coming home for dinner, just about noon, and we kind of walked down along the creek, and there was these big tall weeds there, you know. Hell, they were thicker than hell. And you could see there was a path going in there, you know, like somebody walked in there, you know. So he walked in first, and I walked behind him, and we walked in there about 20, 30 feet. The creek was behind there. Here they had a still going in there, you know, moonshine. They had a gun too. They had a revolver. They held it right on us right away, you know. And he said, don't you say anything about this, you know. Don't you ever mention it. So, well, they offered him, he had a tin cup there, you know, and he offered him a little sip. And he wanted to offer me a little sip. I tasted it, and I just stuck my tongue in it, you know. I was about 14. And, anyway, we started walking home the rest of the way, and we got to the garden fence, you know, and there was a little woven wire that high, and pasture on the back side, you know, and there was 3 barbed wires on top. And he got in there and he started crawling through the fence, and he got caught up, and I tried to help unhook it. You know, when the barbed wire, his shirt was caught, and he started throwing up, and he got sicker than a dog. I didn't know what to do with him. I couldn't handle him, you know. So I had to go home. It was just dinner time, and I told Ma, Pa is real sick back there by the garden. We got to come back and help get him home. He laid around all afternoon throwing up on that damn moonshine. The farmer up by Ridge Spring, at the county farm, he was looking for a hired man, and it was on a Sunday afternoon, and I was just 15 then, and my dad says to him, take him along. He says, pay him what you want to pay him, you know. It's like that. I went to work right away at $20 a month.
He had 3 brothers at home, so he didn't figure he needed you anymore.
Yeah. So I worked there just a year. Never got paid until the year was up. And the guy was crippled, you know. He had a paralysis. And we had 25 cows to milk. His wife milked 12, and I milked 13 every morning and night by hand.
Imagine by hand.
And you said you put in very long hours.
Yeah, long days, yeah. He had an old Fordson tractor and 4 old crippled horses. Couldn't hardly walk. Skinny, you could see the ribs in him. That's what we
Yeah,
had to
people
work.
didn't have money in
And,
those
and you
days.
worked from early in the morning till
Yeah.
10 or so at night?
Every Sunday,
And you never got a dime till the end of the year?
not
And
till
then
the
the-
end of the year.
And then the money went to your dad?
My dad, about a month after I went to work there, my folks bought a suit for me. I didn't have a suit of clothes, you know. And that was $14.
Who gave you that?
Huh?
Who gave you the money for the suit? The farmer?
My dad, my ma did.
Oh, your mother got
Yeah.
it for you. Oh, yeah.
What in Reedsburg, Schwickies.
And then they used that money to buy the farm in Merrimack?
Yeah,